We are live.
We are good to go. It is 5 o'clock on July 6th. We want to call the Victoria County Municipal Council meeting to order. For today, the agenda has been circulated. Are there any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda? Hearing none, we have a motion to approve the agenda as circulated, please.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor McGinnis, seconded by
Second.
Seconded by Councillor McDonald. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion's carried. The agenda has been approved. And we're just waiting for Councillor Budge, who will be joining us shortly via phone.
Councillor
So thank
Budge is
you,
on.
Council.
Councillor
Is he
Budge
on
is-
now?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. I couldn't see it, so I see his phone now. So
Yeah,
thank you
maybe
very much,
Meryl,
Council.
Meryl, if you could mute yourself. Gee, thanks.
Okay, just a reminder, we are doing a Zoom virtual meeting as usual, and sometimes it's a little difficult to see who has made the motion, who seconded. So if you put your hand up and speak clearly, we'll make sure we capture the right person. So tonight we would like to welcome Terry Smith to council tonight. He is going to do a presentation on Destination Cape Breton. And Terry, just 1 second, we have to do a little house cleaning before we start that. We had two public hearings this afternoon, one for water supply and septic upgrade lending program, and I just need a motion to approve that recommendation that came from the public hearing saying that we would adopt the second reading.
I'll make that move.
I have it, Deputy Warden Daphne, seconded by
Second.
Councillor Budge. Thank you, Wayne. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, so the second reading of that bylaw has been approved by council. The second public hearing was in relation to authorized voting for telephone internet for electronic voting for the 2020 municipal election in October. That was moved as a recommendation at the public hearing. Do we have somebody who wish to make that motion to accept that decision from the public hearing, please?
I make that motion.
Moved by Councillor McNeil, seconded by
Second.
Councillor Budge. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion's carried. And the second reading of that bylaw has been approved. Sorry about that, Mr. Smith. It was just a little bit of housekeeping that we don't normally do. And thank you for your patience while we went through that process. So Terry, welcome to council. We look forward to your report this evening. Tourism is probably one of, not our largest industry. It's our second largest industry next to fishing. So we appreciate you coming this evening. And I believe you have a presentation that you wish to share, and you'll share it on the screen. I think just with these, since we're doing it virtually, we'll probably hold questions to the end. And we've allocated 20 minutes for you this evening. Does that sound reasonable to you, sir?
That's great. Thank you.
All right. Floor is yours, sir.
All right, I'm just going to share my screen. So can everyone see that? All right. Well, thank you all for inviting me here, and it's great to update you again just on where we're at. Just in terms of what we've been doing throughout the pandemic, we've been doing a mix of initiatives. The foremost has been advocacy for the industry, as I know the county has been certainly as well. That's not a typical part of our mandate, but it was a role that we took on given the situation, and the industry needed as much support as possible. We also took on a number of pandemic initiatives. Let's see here. So one thing that we launched was Cape Breton Takeout for all of our food operators that were doing takeout, and we had 66 participating food operators from across the island. We also launched a gift card campaign, and actually I would like to acknowledge that it was Dan Coffin who gave us the initial idea for that. So thank you, Dan. Dan's always got great ideas. We had 33 participating operators for that. And then as well, we had 30 days of thanks, which kind of stemmed from the idea of the gift card, where we acknowledged essential service providers across the island. And I want to thank the county for participating in that, sponsoring that. And just so you know, with the funds that the county provided, what we used them for was to purchase gift cards for operators within your municipality. So your funds were directly going to benefit operators within your municipality. But the recipients were from outside of your municipality. And recipients from Victoria County would have gotten gift cards from other municipalities, just so we could move people around the island a little bit. So our current picture in terms of the tourism industry and recovery is, we know it's going to be a challenging year. We have pent-up demand among consumers out there with limited options to go anywhere else to travel. So that's kind of that's a good thing. But there's also a reluctance among some people to travel for safety reasons. On the supply side of things, so we know that gathering limits, they've recently been increased, and social distancing is in place, so that has an impact on things. The vast majority of festivals and events have been canceled for the year. Cruise has been shut down, which particularly has an impact on your communities like Baddeck and Iona. And some operators, it's a small percentage, are not opening, and we'll get into that just a little bit more detail. And of course, on the economy side, we've had an impact on disposable income and savings. We have the Atlantic Bubble just opened on Friday, and we are hearing anecdotally that people are already seeing some visitors from New Brunswick, so that's a good thing. And Premier McNeil said we should be opening to the rest of Canada by the third week in July. We'll see if that is still the case, but we can pivot and do that with our marketing campaign if that is the case. One thing I just wanted to share, and this is a stat that comes from Tourism Nova Scotia, that Nova Scotians spend about $990 million on travel inside the province on an annual basis, and then an additional $800 million outside of the province. So if we just get Nova Scotians spending that within the province, and hopefully a significant chunk of that on Cape Breton Island, that could make a big boost to our operators that need it so desperately. Just to show you, in terms of a typical year, where our visitors come from compared to the Nova Scotia average. So as you can see on the left-hand side of this chart, our Atlantic visitors, we really rely on visitors from outside of the region. 77% of our visitors come from outside Atlantic Canada. So you would think that that puts us in a difficult position for this year. But a lot of those visitors that are traveling within the region would be people that normally would be going to Halifax for business, for concerts, shopping, things like that. And that probably isn't going to happen to the extent that it usually would. But the plus side for Cape Breton is that, as you can see in this graph, we are by and large a pleasure travel destination, particularly Victoria County. And so that's actually a pretty good position to be in when there are very few vacation options. People that would have traveled down south in the late part of the winter weren't able to do so. So maybe they've got some money in the bank that they could spend on their summer vacation. So we'll be doing everything we can to get them to spend it here. So based on all of that knowledge, we developed our recovery marketing strategy for this year. I'll just give you a quick overview. In terms of our experience, everything that we do is based on research. We know that some of the main motivators to come to the island are, of course, the Cabot Trail. That's the #1 motivator. And then our outdoor experiences. The good thing with those is that they can be done safely with social distancing. And culinary is one of our top motivators as well. And so we've just launched a program. I just finished an interview on CBC actually about Lobsterlicious, and a new culinary event that we've just launched. Eventually, we will be looking to promote more of our cultural and historical experiences as some of those operations come online, and we know what the picture looks like there. We've also been targeting some niche markets: golf, motorcycling, boating, and fishing. And our focus in terms of our messaging with creative is just reminding these people within the region, they know us, they've been here before for the most part, that they've got this world-class destination right in their backyard. We want to appeal to their pent-up demand, but also focus on that safety message. So I just want to show you some examples of some of our creative. So this is to our Maritimes message, an example of 3 screens of a digital animated ad. So the open road is calling, it's time to answer, plan your safe escape. For residents of Cape Breton Island, we've used a bit of a different message. And here's just an example for them. Your heart's in the Highlands, it's time to join it, reconnect with your island. One thing that was just launched is a program that TIANS, the Tourism Industry Association of Nova Scotia, has adapted for use within the province, called Clean It Right. This is an online program that will be that has been rolled out to operators around the island to encourage them to get their cleaning staff to take this training program. It's done online, it's free to them, and for every staff member, it only takes about an hour to go through the module. But for us, the important thing is this is a program that we think can provide confidence to visitors, to the staff, and to our local communities that that there are steps that are being taken to ensure that cleaning is done properly within our operators. So this is a program that we're going to be promoting, and our operators that go through it, they will be highlighted on our website. This slide is just gives you a quick glance. I'm not going to go through it in great detail, but it just tells you about when we're lining up what tactics we're going to use from a marketing standpoint, what we do at different stages of the path to purchase of the consumer's decision-making process. So at the dreaming stage, where they're just thinking about where they're going to go on vacation, there's some tactics. Then when they get down to planning, booking, and so forth. So by and large, this season, we're going to be focusing on digital marketing and content marketing. That's going to be the bulk of what we do. We will be doing some regional TV as well. But I have to say that that's not much different than what we would do in a normal year. There's just a few things that we will be doing a little bit differently with messaging and with what we highlight, just in response to the pandemic and the current situation. And I wanted to mention as well that everything that we're doing, we're in the process of just finalizing a partnership with Tourism Nova Scotia. So what we do will be complementary to the provincial strategy. With that said, that's kind of an overview of where we are marketing wise. I wanted to share with you just a couple of slides. We conducted a survey of operators in late May, early June, and Dan has a copy of the detailed results that came from this. So 109 operators surveyed in Victoria County, and we asked them what their plans are to open. So for some, they were year-round businesses that said that they've stayed open throughout. Some either year-round that shut down, or seasonal. The vast majority say they are going to be opening. A small percentage say they're not opening, and there were a few that were unsure. But at the time of this survey, we didn't know that there would be things like an Atlantic bubble and the mention by the Premier that we would be opening up to the rest of Canada. So those who are unsure may reconsider, and hopefully more of them will be opening. But by and large, 85% of your operators are planning to be open for the season. The difficult thing, though, is that we also asked them about their employment projections. And as you can see from this graph, it's looking like, compared to last year, like this year will be difficult in terms of employees, with on a almost 40% decline in employment levels. So last year in some communities, it was difficult to find employees. That shouldn't be a problem this year, but we still have to do some things to make sure that our seasonal employees that don't get called back to work are taken care of by the federal government over next winter. So, and that's things that are being worked on. And I think that's just about it in terms of the presentation. I just wanted to note as well that since we launched our campaign, sessions to our website from within the region are up 289% to date, and also clicks to operator websites are actually up 300%. So we're seeing more website visitation, and the clicks to operator website that shows that there is an intent to book, and that's a really encouraging sign as well. So we're hopeful. It's not going to be the season that it normally would be, but we're hopeful that we will be able to salvage something that will at least sustain our operators so they can stay in business. So be happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you, Terry. Can I perhaps ask you to take as much as thank you. I was going to ask you to take that slide down as much as I like it. I can't see who has a question, but it's certainly a nice background. Compliment you on that. I think there probably will be some questions. I think the way that we're going to try to do it, because we are virtual tonight, Terry, is we just very quickly go through the districts. And if you have a question or a comment, I would ask you to be brief with your questions and your comments. So we'll start with district number 1. Any questions or comments, Councillor McNeil?
Oh, thanks, Terry, for the presentation tonight. We are in a different time. Everybody's in a different time, especially the tourism industry. And it's important to have an organization like Destination Cape Breton to help out with our operators and employees and visitors. One question you mentioned right off the top about the cruise ship industry, and it was very important to the Highland Village in Iona here. Do you have any indication? It's probably hard now. Will that industry come back in the future, or do you see it coming back?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. We're a member of the Atlantic Canada Cruise Association, and they've shared some research that was done, and the research showed that people who are avid cruisers overwhelmingly say that when it's safe to do so, they will all be returning to cruise. So they won't be put off at all by some of the events that happened, particularly on cruise ships during the pandemic. So that's great to hear. It's just, it's got to be at a point where people have the confidence that it's safe to cruise again, but it will definitely come back.
Okay, thank you. Thanks again, Terry.
Thanks, Paul. Councillor McLeod, any quick questions or comments, please?
No, just a comment. Thank you, Terry, for the presentation. I know it's a difficult year this for our business operators, so I'm glad they have a plan. And just best of luck for this season, and looking forward next season will be better. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. We're going to go to district number 4. Councillor McGuinness, any questions or comments?
Thank you, Terry. That was interesting. And the one thing I was wondering about is what about the tour bus industry? Is that it looking like it might get on its feet again, or what's the score there?
Yeah, it probably not this year, but hopefully in the future. It it was actually an industry that was making a little bit of a comeback in recent years, and so we're certain that that will make a comeback. In fact, through the pandemic, there were still operators I was talking to that said that they were still getting bookings from bus companies. So I think that it will come back. Just it's safe to bring it back.
Is the maritime bus business still operating from Halifax to Sydney at the present time? Have they stopped service, or are they ongoing?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure about that one, but
Okay,
we can look into it.
good. Thanks, Terry.
Thank you, Councillor McGuinness. We're going to move on to Councillor Patterson, District 5, please.
Hi, Terry. Welcome to virtual Victoria County. We have no idea where you were. You could be anywhere. The employment situation, Terry, almost 40% decrease from the previous year. Did you dig down with the operators anymore to find out why that's the case?
Oh, it's completely due to their projections in terms of what they expect business wise for the season. So I mean, hopefully we can do better than has been projected, and they might be able to do better than a 4% reduction. But you know what we're hearing so far from operators is that you know, it's early, but that the weekends seem to look decent, but weekdays are slower. So that means that they'll probably ramp up their staffing on the weekends, but have fewer on the weekdays. So hopefully we'll start to get, what it seems to be is that people in the region are doing weekend getaways now, but haven't really gotten into booking things like summer vacations yet. So hopefully we see more people, you know, planning longer stays.
And just supplementary, the pent up demand is there. People have been staying at home or whatever for a couple of months, and they're willing to hit the road. So hopefully we can direct as many of them as possible to Victoria County, I guess, and all of Cape Breton. So thanks again, Terry. Good to see you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Fraser. Deputy Warden Daphne.
Yes, thanks, Terry, very much for the presentation. Good to see that a large number of businesses are reopening. That was my main concern. One question, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to answer this. The biggest complaint I was hearing from seasonal operators was the lack of assistance with getting open and buying supplies to meet their regulations. I haven't heard anything from the businesses in the last week or two. I'm just wondering, from your aspect, from your standpoint, do you feel that the seasonal businesses have gotten the assistance they needed, or are they still struggling to get more assistance?
I think, and not just seasonal, I think all businesses are struggling, but particularly like in a seasonal business case, nothing is going to replace what they would have received during peak season, like those revenues. And that's my concern. Like, I think that we'll be able to salvage something. Hopefully that will sustain them. But my real concern is come next winter, when they would have been using, you know, the revenues that they would have generated through the summer, through Celtic Colors, things like that, to pay the bills. I think they could be still in difficult situations, and that's been relayed to some of our federal and provincial politicians. So I'm still hopeful that there is going to be something more substantial that will support tourism operators, because I don't think that what's been done so far is going to really address all of the needs, for sure.
No, that's great, Terry. I do appreciate everything you guys have done to push that up the line to the federal government and the provincial government, and also Cape Breton Partnership. I think without you guys, we would have been in a worse situation. So thanks very much for all that you're doing for the businesses. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. We are moving to Councillor Budge. Any quick questions or comments this evening?
No, I'd just like to thank Terry for presentation, but no questions.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor McDonald, any questions from District 8 tonight?
Yes, thanks Terry for the presentation. Things up on this end, all on the Cabot Trail, the small businesses especially seem to be open and thriving a little bit there. With the cruise ship industry, how do you foresee that? Do you see that reviving, especially at a CBRM? Must be a major impact for them.
Yeah, and I think that's the challenge for the island. I mean, I think the Cabot Trail communities are probably best positioned just because of the type of experience that is provided and what you normally get business wise in CBRM with cruise and without like a lot of events and things like that. It's definitely more challenging for that municipality. But as I said before, we're confident that cruise will come back hopefully next year, and events will come back as well.
Great, and thank you as well for everything you folks are doing on your end. And just one question: do you foresee if the American border, if it doesn't reopen in the middle of July, do you think that'll have a major impact for us in Nova Scotia, especially in Cape Breton, Victoria County?
It certainly has an impact. So Americans are a little over 20% of our visitors, and so that has an impact for sure. But the biggest market for us, traditionally has been Ontario. So if it is safe for us to get back to bringing people from Ontario again at some point this season, I think that will be the biggest potential for us to try to exploit. But to be honest, right now, if the American border opened, I think some people in Ottawa might be lynched. So I don't anticipate that happening at all this year.
Great. Thanks, Terry. Appreciate your time. Take care.
No, thank you, Terry. Just as we wrap up here, certainly on behalf of council, we want to certainly recognize and appreciate the support and advice you've been giving our operators and our residents as we move through this really difficult time. We haven't seen this before, and hopefully it will be many years before we see it again. And as you said many times at the meetings I've been at with you, is that it's not just this summer. We'll be impacted with summers as we move forward. So we do want to invite you back in November, December. Give us a review of how you felt the season went. It'd be very interesting to see what the feedback will be. It'll be very interesting to see what the impacts of this pandemic will have had on us this summer, and it probably will help us prepare better for next summer. So again, thank you for your time tonight, and again, thank Destination Cape Breton for providing support to our tourism industry. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I just should note that we are working, putting the final touches on our 10-year strategy that council has supported us with. So I should be coming back to you in the fall, and that will be a focus of that presentation. So I look forward to that, and thank you all.
Great. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Look forward to it. See you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
We're going to move on to our next presentation. I believe is Chrissy Hines with us now.
She might be in as attendee status, so I'll just bring her in. Just give me a moment.
Can you check, please? Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I can. Can everybody else hear her? Okay, that's Chrissy, I'm assuming.
Yes, it is, Bruce. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Are you okay to go? I haven't introduced you yet, but you're good?
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, thanks. Second item on council tonight, we have Chrissy Hines. She is facility manager of the Victoria County Memorial Hospital, and she has some updates about some of the services that are being provided there through point of care. So we thought it was best that she can come to council and give us those updates. So I will turn it over to you, Chrissy, and welcome to council. And please bear with us as we go through these virtual meetings. We know sometimes it's difficult to speak, sometimes it's difficult to hear. And so I'm going to turn it over to you. And what we have done is that we will ask for questions at the end if there are any. Is that okay with you?
That's great. Thank you very much, Bruce.
All right.
Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm turning it over to you and I'm muting.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come, Bruce, councillors, and community members. I'm very excited to talk about the point of care, which is an extension of the lab services that's occurring now. Since the last week of June, we've launched the point of care. Long journey to get there to it. We were finishing the first stage of our training in January, coming into February when COVID hit. So unfortunately, it went on by the sidelines. We completed it the 18th of June, and my staff have been slowly taking over some of the services for the lab, but not until 10 o'clock at night. Our coverage from a nursing perspective will take place after 10 o'clock at night, through the day if we're not busy on the weekends. And mostly what that's going to do is give some of the lab staff a little bit of a break of not having to do call for urgent or emergency blood work. I'm excited about the point of care. The more I'm learning about it, it's going to provide Victoria County Memorial Hospital with a range of lab work that can be done and resulted on site very quickly. It doesn't replace the lab. The lab is still a functioning lab, and it's going to be going from Monday to Friday at its regular hours, and then they'll do call, as they usually do, from 8 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night on weekends, evenings and weekends. So it's exciting. I know there was a lot of worry about with it coming that it's going to close down our lab. If that's not the case, all indications I'm receiving is that we're actually accentuating the services by offering more on-site blood work, the labs that can be resulted on site and not have to be shipped out with the delay. Now, there's still blood work that will need to be shipped out, but we will get more than what we're used to resulted on site. They have filled more, has retired after 40 plus years of service, but she is coming back mid-July to do some call, and I'm so excited for her. That's a great career that she's had, and she's been a wonderful asset for Victoria County. I only know her a year, but she's a wonderful lady. Brenda has been awarded her full-time position. They do have a successful applicant for Brenda's position, but they haven't completed that yet because now we're into summertime. But Meredith Forthas Parks and Anita Parsons I met with last week, and they're on schedule to have a second person there. So that's exciting too, to have people that have actually applied for those positions. Does anyone have any questions? I'm excited about the program. I do think it's going to be a wonderful asset for us, and my staff will be helping to give a bit of a break to the lab girls for their call, but not until 10 o'clock at night.
Great. No, we appreciate the update. And I'm just going to check and see if there are some questions here for you, Chrissy. Just ask anybody if they do, if they would raise their hand. If they have any questions, please. Any questions? Yeah, we're going to Councillor McDonald on District 8.
Hi, Chrissy. Thanks for the presentation. It's right there. I was just wondering, you said the point of care system, does that come in at 10 o'clock at night?
Well, no, they're going to be using it through the day. The lab on the weekends will be using it through the daytime hours. It's my nursing staff will use the equipment in the evening after 10. Okay,
and finally, the only other question I have is, do you think futuristically that point of care could replace the lab technologist.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Very
not.
good.
My nursing staff can't do the load of what the lab services do. That's not where I see the goal of the point of care going.
Great, thank you very much. That was our same on our end down here at Buchanan, the same issues that we had. It's good to hear that it's going well. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have another question for you, Chrissy. I don't think you can see, but Councillor Patterson has a question.
Good afternoon, Christine. My name is Fraser Patterson. I live in Ross Ferry. Had occasion to go to Victoria Memorial a number of times because you never know if North Sydney is open or not. Just with the blood work, the blood testing, will you be able to do 100% of the testing, or will there be some that will be on your scope?
There's a range of blood tests that can be done on the point of care. So it's not 100%, but it's probably at about 80 or more, 80%. So there is a good range there that we'll have coverage for. But if another test is ordered, it will still be sent out. It would mean the lab services would come in and send it out.
So is that you have to make an appointment now as it is north side?
Yes, that's actually across the province. For blood work, yeah, it's across the province, and this is not going to change, is what they're telling me. You do have to make appointments for blood work. Now, if you come into ER, you would be handled as normally. You would be a normal client coming through ER, but if you have routine blood work or if you have urgent blood work, you will still come through lab services for that Monday to Friday. That's not changing. The lab will still be using their regular equipment, is my understanding. It's only on the evenings and weekends that it's going to revert to the point of care machines.
Thank you.
No problem.
Councillor McNeil has a question.
It's not a question. I'd just like to congratulate Maura on her retirement too. She's from the area, so, and I'm glad to hear that she's going to fill in. Thanks.
Yes, we're very fortunate, and Anita Parsons, her manager, and Meredith Forrest Parks, who is the director for the Eastern Zone for the lab services, they're very pleased that Maura is offering to come back. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for Chrissy tonight? We good? Well, I want to thank you very much, Chrissy, for providing that update of the lab. It's nice to get that information early, and we appreciate you coming and visiting with council tonight and give us that update. And I do also want to echo my congratulations and recognize Maura for 40 years of work at the lab, and we appreciate that. And please pass along our best wishes to her, please. She's an old schoolmate. I certainly will.
She's a wonderful lady.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I want to thank you too, Bruce. I want to thank you and the councillors and the public for allowing me to come and chat with you. And I'd like to kind of do that if there's any concerns that I can come and chat and kind of help out.
No, it's a two-way door with us, Chrissy. To feel free to come to give us updates anytime. We're always willing to hear. You know our thoughts on our hospitals, whether they're north or south. They are probably the most important resources in our communities, and we're very protective of them. That's for sure. So we appreciate the updates, especially when it is good news, and we get out front of the information. So we do appreciate it. So thank you very much again. And we look forward to having you back whenever you wish. The door's always open to meet with us and North as well.
For sure. Thank you very much, Bruce.
All right. Thanks. Travel safe. All right. We're going to move on to the next item at council. The next item on our agenda is the approval of minutes. The minutes of June 15th were circulated to you. You've had a chance to review them. Are there any errors or omissions in the June 15 minutes? Hearing none, can we have a motion to approve the minutes of June 15th council session, please?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor McGuinness, I think.
Yes.
Do we have a seconder? Thank you. Seconded by?
Second.
Second by Councillor McDonald. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion's carried. The minutes have been approved. Is there any old business to come out of those minutes this evening?
I just have a couple of things coming out of there. Just to let Councillor Budge know that, and he probably does know, but the beach walkway has been replaced in Niels Harbor, which was an issue a little while back. So that has been done. The other Bruce Morrison was down and built a new walkway down there. Also, we were to have be contacting Cape Breton Partnership and Carla about broadband meetings. So broadband meetings are set up. You would have all got an invitation related to a Develop Nova Scotia meeting for July 15th. There's also going to be another meeting that is open to the public on July 22nd. So the July 15th meeting is for council and the July 22nd one is open to the public. And just to let you know that we haven't forgotten about the signs and the medals. There are requests out right now for quotes for those. And we're hoping to have quotes in the very near future. I think we have one so far, so we're looking to get a couple of other ones.
Anything else to come out of the minutes of June 15th? Thank you very much for that update, Leanne. We are going to go on to new business and the CAO's report. So we'll turn it over to you, Leanne, please.
Yep. Okay. So I sent my report out to everyone earlier today. Just to let you know, just a note on there, pretty good so far for our rejection numbers related to residents that may be coming into summer homes from other areas. Our rejection numbers in the past, so in early June, were about 4 or 6 per week. And over the last 3 weeks, we've had just probably another 5 to 10 bags. So our numbers have doubled, but still really good based on the amount of bags that are being picked up by collections. So there was 14, 10, and 11 over the last 3 weeks. I just want to give you a little update on things that are going on in the different departments. So from our tourism department, Dan sent me a little update on where he is at, and he has had 40 meetings and connections with operators within the county. He's hearing some concerns, but he's also hearing hopefulness. He's developing a survey right now to see who is open and what days they're opening, and he's planning on having that survey distributed to all those places, because when somebody comes to your door, you'll want to know where else I can go along the way. So, and things are changing. It's a very fluid system right now. So he's getting this survey updated and sending out to the different operators. So we feel like that's going to be a pretty good tool for them to have. He's also hearing about washroom issues all around the county. It seems to be something really rampant within our county, but not really around the rest of the province. And I'm not 100% sure why that is, but he is working with some different operator groups to come up with solutions for washroom issues. So if anyone is having washroom issues, or if anyone is contacting any of their counselors about it, have those organizations contact myself or Dan, and we'll see if we can help with those. He is also saying that there was supposed to be a tourism training group for website management and planning workshop that was going to be offered starting next week. I think that is now being postponed until the fall because there just wasn't enough interest at this time. So just to let a few things related to tourism. On our recreation and active living, working on applications right now. We're putting in an application with the province, and we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we're going to get some funding, and we're going to see if we can set up some Moby mats and Moby equipment for 1 or 2 beaches on Victoria County. Really good for getting providing accessibility for everyone down to a beach. So we're putting in an application for that. She's also working on getting some craft kits within the county for as a to-do project for different, possibly some families. And she is working on bike and ski initiatives for the upcoming and the current season. She's had 62 responses so far on her active living strategy survey. Hoping you can get the word out related to that around the county. There is a prize that's available for anyone that is putting their comments in there and suggestions, and we can get a better strategy with more input from around the county. So that survey is open until July 31st. She's also looking to develop a safe hiking during COVID workbook or pamphlet of some kind, and I think she's going to contact Parks to see if there could be some kind of shared initiative on that. Just to let you know what's going on in Patrick's department, economic development. The Broadband Council meeting is happening July 15th. He is also having trips around visiting businesses. He seems to think that there's a theme, and restaurants are doing really great. Accommodations are up, and it's looking right now like golf is a driver for a lot of them. But one industry that seems to be having a really hard time is the artisans around the county. So if you have any influence, or if you're talking to anyone, make sure you ask them to visit our artisans around the county and give them a little bit of a boost. He's talking with a group related to a mountain bike strategy. It's still happening, but the consultant that was dealing with coming up with the strategy was in an accident, so the pace is slowed, but it's still happening. We'd rather get a great strategy than a half-finished strategy or a rushed one, so we're working on that. There's also an adventure tourism strategy that is coming along, and he's also been working on 5 new business plans around the county. Public Works, we're back to normal operations today as of July 6th. Water reads have started actual reads again, and we're seeing positive reactions from the residents of having an actual person out there to take the reading. So we're back to normal on that. We have a geotechnical request for quote that closed today related to the water line extension down in Ingonish, which was on the website. And we also have another tender that's out right now related to the sale of surplus equipment. And that is open until July 9th, and that is also on our website. In our finance department, so we have another prize available in our finance department. We're encouraging residents to sign up for pre-approved payments. It's an easy way to get your tax bill paid. You can choose whichever method you want, monthly, on the due date, quarterly, whatever it is. If residents sign up before September 1st, their name will be put in the draw. And I believe that it's some piece of equipment. I think it's a tablet of some kind. So we're encouraging that to happen. For our audit, our financials are available in draft form right now, and we're just waiting to get those. We are currently looking at different tax sale options. The problem right now is that the probate office is closed, and you need access to the actual building and the files to get in to finish any of those. So it's not even, the problem on a tax sale isn't even doing it virtually, which is the way that we seem to be doing most of our things now, but it's that we can't get in to finish some of these files. So we're looking to the province for some direction on that. And related to the tax financing option, we're having some interest generated on that for within the county. There's a few that are calling and asking questions related to that. Two other things in the finance department. There was a tax exemption form that was sent out to all. And we're wondering if we can get the tax exemption form and the new policy passed as was presented. What will be happening in this is we are looking to see if we can make the exemption. So this is available not just to seniors, but to low income thresholds around the county. We are looking to see for anyone who has a threshold, who has an income below $25,000, that they can get exemption on their taxes. And we're looking to put the exemption up from $200 to $225. So if we could get that policy approved, which is an internal policy, we could get that posted, and hoping to have applications in so that we could set a due date of December 31st on that, and we could give a break to a lot of needy residents within the county. So I'm hoping that it was sent out on June 26th to all residents or to all councillors. I don't think we heard anything back, so I'm assuming no news is good news related to that. So I'm hoping that we could have something related to that, maybe a motion to pass that policy in the form.
Did you want that motion to approve that policy this evening?
I would like that, yes.
Okay, we've had it, that document has been circulated. You've had a chance to review it. It's a recommendation from our staff. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Deputy Warden, seconded by
Second it.
Councillor McGinnis. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? So that is an internal policy that has been approved at council this evening.
Just a
Thank you.
follow-up question, Warden,
Yes.
Ian, the 25,000, the limit or ceiling?
Yep.
How was that arrived at?
So there was a lot of work that was done all around the province and found several different thresholds. We've moved it from 20,000 to 25,000. We are trying that one out. If it reaches a lot of people, we're hoping it's on a first come, first served basis. We have a balance in our budget related to that. If we don't get, hopefully people will take advantage of it. But if we don't have enough interest in it, or if there's not enough people that have applied for it and there's room in the budget there, then maybe we'll look at changing some of the thresholds related to it next year too. So it's just giving it a try for this year. It's an average of around the county.
Yeah, thank you.
Around the province. Okay, so next one, you were all sent a copy of the water budget for the upcoming year. The water budget has a total operating revenue for the 2021 year of $985,000 and a total operating expenses of $665,000. So as you know, the difference between 900 and 600 is 300,000, which would be a surplus in our water operating budget. And again, those surpluses come to reduce the budget or reduce the deficit that has been generated over the last several years. And that's the whole purpose of this. So we didn't hear anything back on the water budget. I'm not sure if it's too early to approve it or not, but I'm wondering if it's possible to get an approval on that one as well.
Again, you've had sorry, go ahead. There are questions. Councillor McDonald.
Yes, I was just wondering if I could ask the CEO, what does the deficit stand at now with their water utility? Would you have that number? Or?
That's a good question. I don't have it off the top of my head, but maybe Alex does. And I know she's an attendee. I'm not 100% sure.
Because it just means that the 300,000 goes towards.
Yeah,
the
I'm just
debt.
bringing up the statements, right? The draft statements.
So as of March 31st, 2020, the deficit was 1.3 million. So last year we had a surplus, I think of about the same. So a $400,000 surplus is where we ended at March 31st. So that brought the deficit down a bit. So all of these surpluses are slowly bringing it down, but like it is still over $1 million.
Mhm.
Great,
And the
thank
only
you.
reason that the only real reason that this that there is a deficit that's happening is because the principal repayments that we've had over the last 10 years are now over with for the last 2 years. So that principal repayment piece is actually what's helping to reduce the deficit. So if we have to get another loan in the water utility, it will virtually wipe out any surpluses that we're having, is my guess.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. So if I'm clear on that, there was a surplus of 300,000, but our debt still remains at over $1 million, correct?
Correct.
So, okay. So CAO is looking for a motion tonight that we accept that report. We have a motion. Are we satisfied with the information that we've received?
I move.
Moved by Councillor McLeod.
McLeod.
Thank you. Second, we have a seconder, please.
So moved.
Councillor Budge, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion's carried. Thank you, Leanne.
Okay. We have one other finance related item, and I don't know if I have the actual document in front of me, so Alex may need to stay on this one also, but we didn't approve the temporary borrowing resolution. We need an approval on that to borrow the money from the province related to the tax financing program. Alex, would you happen to have the wording related to that TBR?
Yeah, I'm just looking for it right now. I don't have it in.
Okay, so while you're looking for it, I'll just go over a couple of other things that I have, just some final things on my report. Just to let everyone know that Joan Sullivan, who has a summer home in Bedeque, but she lives normally in Pennsylvania, she was not able to come home to Bedeque for the summer because of COVID. She had ordered a large display of flowers for her home, which is up in the old Ben Bria property. And she has donated all those flowers. She's donated them to Alderwood and to the courthouse. So if you have a chance, go by and see all the flowers that we have this year. They came from the Fiddle Shed, and she has graciously donated them to the county. So thank you very much to Joan Sullivan this year for that. They're wonderful. One other thing, there was a document that was sent out, and we've received it from the fire marshal related to proposed changes to the Nova Scotia Building Code related to restaurants. We invite anyone interested in this to check it out on our website and get back to the fire marshal with any concerns. Yeah, and that's what I have related to my report. Anyone have any questions? Can't hear you. Can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry. Alex, did you find the information that?
I do have it. Does the whole resolution do I need to read it? I think it's a page long, or do I just
no,
give the gist of it?
The amount, I think.
Okay,
is,
it's
yeah.
To borrow a sum not exceeding $3,606,000 for the temporary short-term operating loan related to COVID.
Right, and we were very aware this was the amount that we would be applying for. So
Yes.
We need a formal motion to borrow that money as temporary borrowing resolution, I believe it's called.
Yes. I have a question, sorry. Just before you that. If in case it's not the case, but we need more money, can we ask for more? I know we have a conversation with them, but it's just a question.
My last understanding with discussions with the province is that you can do 2 draws. So this is what we had originally calculated that we possibly could need, but we also can do 1 draw if we need to.
Okay, yeah, because in the last meeting with the village, he explained that it's not just for taxes. So it just is my question.
Yeah, that was the first that we had heard about that too. So
interestingly, the resolution does only speak about taxes, and that's what's provided by the province. So there might be a little bit of confusion there.
Okay, but in case we can ask for more in case for another issues for the county.
Correct.
Good point. Thank you very much. Anybody else have any questions about the resolution before we? Do we have a motion to approve the borrowing of that 3.6, approximately 3.6? Thank you, Councillor Budge. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Second it.
Councillor McDonald, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. The approval has been given by council to borrow the requested amount of money for that particular program. Thank you. Are there any other final quick questions or comments for the CAO in regards to her report this evening?
Just one, Warden.
Sorry, we lost you there. Was that Deputy Warden?
Yeah, just a question for Leanne. In regards to the geotechnical tender that went out that closed, I think it was today. Can we ensure that that is acted on right away and we get that company, whoever's the successful candidate, to start that work immediately? I did have a meeting with the project manager at Smokey, and things are moving quite well over there. And if we do get funding, I hope we're in a situation where we can move on it fast. So if we could push that at all, I'd greatly appreciate it.
I will do my best on that. Yep. And
Thank you very much.
We did receive some quotes. Well, some tenders came in. I'm not exactly sure which one it's related to, but I'm assuming that it's that one. So fingers crossed that we received some quotes on it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. Any other quick questions, comments before we move on? Okay, we're going to move on to the taxation update, please.
Okay, so I'm just going to read an email that Alex sent out today related to a tax update. So bills have been posted and tax bills have been sent out in the last couple of weeks. So everyone should be receiving their tax bill. If you don't receive it by the end of this week, let us know, because you still will owe the money. So just let us know if you haven't received it, and we'll get it to you somehow. As of today, we have 9.784 million outstanding compared to 9.727 million this time last year. So we're about 57,000 behind where we were at this point last year. For current, which is now the 2020 bills owing, we are at 8.885 million outstanding compared to 8.713, for a difference of 142,000 behind. However, we billed 9.45 million this year compared to 9.227 for 2019. So we actually billed $184,000 more this year, which is mostly an increase in residential. So we take the increased billing into consideration and exclude it, we'd actually continue to be ahead of last year by about $42,000. So again, it's not as much as it was in the past, but we expected that this was going to start happening. So of the previous current amounts owing, as of our last update, now rolled into arrears, we have 928,000 outstanding compared to 1.014 million this time last year. So we're actually, like, if we compared where we were before our billings went out, we're 85,000 to the good of where we were last year. So, and since last council, we've taken $45,000 in collections. So that's where we're at with taxes right now. So your tax bills are out, and we're encouraging everyone to pay them, or apply for some help if you need it through the tax financing program and also through the low income exemption program.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions in regards to the taxation report this evening? Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We are going to go to the next item on council meeting, which is Department of Transportation Infrastructure Renewal concerns. And we'll start with District Number 1. So Councilor McNeil, please, any you may have.
Yeah, I have a few. Most of them are repeats from the last time. So basically, I'll just go over it quick. The John Neil George has the bridge blocked, culverts on the side of the road, and they need a couple of loads of gravel on the east end. Again, Washabuk patching has to be done. Nothing's been done down there yet. Patching through Iona has to be done. Also, it's not in my district, but I'm getting a lot of complaints from people in my district about on the other side of the bridge in Cape Breton County, potholes have to be fixed on the approach coming to the bridge in Cape Breton County. So Dunn Road, a few loads of gravel. Actually, the grading has been done through most of the roads, but a few loads of gravel have to be put on the Dunn Road. And there's a section of the Gillis Point Road that was paved 3 years ago that's starting to be undermined again, and it's awful. It won't take long for it to deteriorate. So if they could look at that right away. And that's it.
Sorry, Councilor McLeod, any issues for Department of Transportation tonight? My apologies,
Yeah.
I was muted and talking.
No.
So go ahead.
That's okay. I have 5 of them. In the Church Cross Road in Middle River just need a maintenance. So the west side Middle River is a 5-year plan, and I just want to check it out when it's going to start again. I see when there's going to be more progress about that. They talk about Beverly Hills Loop in Bedek Inlet. They're going to do some work this year. So I just want to have if there are tenders or they have any date for that. My Charles Cross signage is broken in Big Bedek Road. West side Big Bedek in the Mans Bridge. There's some missing boards, and in the curb is very bad shape. So they need to fill the holes there. And I noticed when you go from Bedek in the highway from Bedek to Halifax in the Cabot Trail Motel, suppose that sign it was 90 and they will change it to 80, or I'm mistaken, but the last time we talked to them, they sent an email saying that when the weather will be better, they will change the sign. So if I'm not mistaken, they didn't do it yet. So just checking about that. And that will be the last one. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And we've got those. And we are going to District Number 4. Councillor McGinnis, please.
Thank you. Yes, well, first of all, related to the highway, a community group in my community wanted to thank the municipality for providing the gloves and garbage bags for the roadside cleanup. And we had 40 participants out along the North Shore, and it made a difference. But one idea they did come up with was that they didn't seem to be seeing as many do not litter signs as we used to have. And I sort of noticed that myself after them mention it. So maybe we could ask them, it wouldn't hurt. It might stop 1 or 2 people from throwing out, I mean, the litter is still going in the ditches. So maybe a sign might motivate them a little bit to stop. So I would request that we put some along the Cabot Trail right from the Gaelic College to top of Smoky. That'd be possible.
Anything else, sir, or is that it?
That's it, I believe. Yep.
I guess maybe if we ask for the littering signs, maybe we should go right to Miko with those if we're going to ask for them. So,
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Right
Yeah.
to Long Valley, for that matter.
all the way along the trail. Yeah, where needed and necessary. So very good. Thank you. We're going to
Everywhere.
go, sorry. We're going to go to District Number 5. Councillor Patterson, please. Any TIR concerns?
Thank you, Warden. Yeah, just to echo Councillor McGuinness's concern about the littering. I've had some complaints about it too. And I actually contacted Robert and he had some ideas. I hadn't thought of TIR, but there was a receipt left in one of the bags of litter. And apparently CBRN police are able to track those. I don't know how it works or whatever, but maybe we could just contact the RCMP and see if they had the same capabilities. Ian, if someone finds litter and there's an identifying piece of paper in it, can they act on that? Two other things, and they were mentioned before, like Paul said, we're getting the stumps on the 105 near the Patterson Road. It's actually the warden, Eagle Eye himself, who pointed these out to me a couple of weeks ago. But if you drive just up the hill past the turn off the Big Brador, they're about 2 to 3 feet high. So if they could look at those. And lastly, some ditching at 5123 the Kempt Head Road on the south side of Bulledry. And I mentioned that before too. So but that hasn't been done as of yesterday anyway. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Patterson. We'll move to District Number 6, Deputy Warden Larry Duffy, please.
Thanks, Warden. Yeah, just a couple of issues. First, I want to thank you, send out a thank you to Steve and the workers at Department of Transportation for the brush cutting they did along the clam flats here in Ingonish. Also doing some ditching as we speak here on the Ingonish Ferry, which was greatly needed. So it's great seeing some work being done in the district. But of course, with that, we always ask for a little more once we see a little bit happening. Two things I've gotten calls on. One is the Woody Shore Road, and I have spoke to Steve and Nelson on it. It may have already been done, but I just want to mention it in the minutes. But we have the Elveneers or Jack and the Beanstalk taking over the road at the Woody Shore Road. So we'd like to get that cut back. It's definitely a visibility and safety issue on that road. The other area I was into was McCrow subdivision here in Ingonish. And it's amazing how much the trees are growing in on that road and that whole area. So if the DOT could take a look at maybe doing some brush cutting and clearing up that road going in there would definitely go a long way to making it a safer area. The only other thing is also getting a call about more erosion on the Cabot Trail. A lot of them we've already talked about, but a new one is actually down the Woody Shore Road also, that we do have some erosion towards the end of that road. And I'm wondering if DOT could take a look at it, see if there's any possibilities of fixing it up. And that is it for DOT.
Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that, sir. We're going to go to District Number 7. Councillor Budge, do you have anything this evening for TIR?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Warden. Just the road going down to White Point and into White Point, there's a lot of potholes and other problems that haven't been dealt with. So I'd just like to ask that those things be taken care of.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We will put that on the list. District Number 8, Councillor McDonald.
Yes, Warden, thank you. Just a few issues this evening. The road shoulder is washing along the Cape North Village, starting up by the Cabot Fire Hall, starting at Civic 26425. There's actually no place to walk on the shoulder there down that stretch of hill, and traffic is quite heavy during this time of year. So if we could have TIR maybe address that issue. I was looking at contacting TIR with reference to getting Cabot Landing Provincial Park Road graded. When the grader was in, it was bypassed. And I think it has to come from lands in order for TIR to do the work, is what I'm told. But I'd just like the minutes to show that it's been asked from our end as well. And I guess Deputy Warden Daphne answered my question for the brush cutter. If it's in Ingonish, I assume then it's on its way north further to the area. The Just like as he stated, foliage is in full bloom and it's causing visual hazard to traffic and everything in this area. So looking for the brush cutter. Hopefully it will be coming north. Another big one is the Y intersection at the Cape North Dingwall intersection there. There was last year we'd asked for directory lanes of some sort where they paint arrows or put signs, and it pretty much sat where it was brought up last year. Nothing's been done to date with that. And I've had a couple of calls from residents in regard to that they would really like something put there in place if at all possible. If we could add that to the list of concerns for TIR as well. And lastly, I'd like to thank MLA Bain, who took the initiative of contacting TIR and securing that the Gaelic signage is ordered and will be implemented this summer. So I'd like to thank MLA Bain for that, taking that step. And that would be it for District 8 this evening, sir.
Thank you very much, Councillor, and we will note those items this evening. For District 3, I don't have any other than just to mention that we did receive a concern from a resident outside of Bedeck about some construction that was and upgrading that was going to be done on the Benbria Redhead Road. We referred that issue directly to Department of Transportation, Steve McDonald, for review and consideration. So we just want to acknowledge that we did receive their correspondence and we dealt with it appropriately. Moving on, are there any notice of motions this evening? Oh, sorry, Councillor McGuinness.
Yes, just one.
Yes, sir.
TIR issue.
Yes.
Triggered memory when Norman was talking about Cape North, but Nelson Dixon contacted me here 2 weeks ago, and apparently it's going to be a policy that all 6-wheel drive plows are going to be removed from province's highways. And I think it should be noted, I spoke to MLA Bain that we should try and retain it because that's one of the most treacherous pieces of highway in our whole province.
Right, the province.
So I just wanted to make note that it's brought up here at this meeting.
Yeah, good point. And can you just hold that one? Maybe that's a district concern and we'll put it through as a separate motion, just given the importance. That's okay. So we have listed the TIR concerns. We need a motion to send that list to Department of Transportation. Would somebody please make that motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor McGuinness, seconded by
Second.
Deputy Warden Daphne. I'm going to select you out of those 7 voices I heard there. So just your light was on. So thank you. So that list, and Councillor McGuinness, we'll hold that one about the 6-wheel drive. I think that's a separate and more important, probably a critical issue. I agree. So, so all in favor of the motion sending that information forward?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion's carried and the letter shall be sent. Are there any notice of motions this evening? District concerns, we will go through. We'll start with district number 8.
Yes, Warden, thank you. Just a few things this evening for District 8. CAO had mentioned about with the washroom, so that issue has been taken care of. I'll have those businesses contact CAO or Dan to get some further information regarding that. I'd like to take $500 from my District 8 budget for the North Highlands Orchard Program in aid of a mower and whippersnipper in regard to their garden centers that they're planting there. It's all vegetables and fruits that go out to the community group seniors and that at no charge to them. So if I could take that from my budget, I would appreciate that.
Thank you. We need a seconder for that motion, please.
Second.
Second by Councillor Budge. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you, Councillor. Anything else, sir?
Just 2 things more of honorable mentions. We have 3 gentlemen in the community who were awarded the Nova Scotia Support for Sport Awards. Were announced online due to COVID and social distancing. They couldn't be held in public. Eamon Chubbs is a young gentleman from Cape North. He was awarded the Junior Male Athlete of the Year and he resides in Cape North. And his father got the provincial award. His name is Tommy Chops, his father. And that's the second year in a row that residents from Cape North have been mentioned and received that award. And I also like to mention Rajan Chamberlain, who received a provincial award as well in regard to cross-country skiing. He has 35 years experience, and he's a great help with the local North Highland Nordic in the area. And lastly, I'd just like to say thank you to Department of Lands and Forests for the new rampway that was installed over at Cabot Landing Beach. I've had received great feedback from local residents, and just want to say thank you to Morley and staff on that. And that would be it for District 8, sir.
Thank you very much. We're going to move to District number 7. Anything for you tonight, Councillor Budge?
Yes, I'd like to take $200 out of my district budget for the Cabot Trail Lions Club for the Fisher Hudson Golf Tournament.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Second.
Councillor McGinnis seconded that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And contrary minded? Motion is carried. Anything else, sir?
Not a thing.
Sorry, Deputy Warden, I know you rang in on that one too, but I heard Councillor McGinnis first. So anyway, we're going to go down to District number 6. Deputy Warden.
Yeah, thank you, Warden. Basically, my thing for tonight was the same thing as Councillor McGinnis. I've been talking to a number of people, community, and a lot of rumors going around. And I know Councillor McDonald's already brought it up that we talk to Steve and get together and talk about equipment and stuff for the winter. But I'd like to go a little further. I don't know. I think we may have already put a request in to meet with Minister Hines, but if not, I'd like to do that again. Let's follow up and see if we can meet, even by Zoom, if we can meet with Minister Hines to discuss. For years now, we're treated the same as anywhere else in the province as far as the amounts of salt, the equipment that we get and whatnot. And I think our conditions here warrant a lot more salt and better equipment than what we've been receiving. I guess the thing that concerns me right now, I'm hearing that the equipment we may be getting down here is purposely being given to us the oldest stuff that's out there, which will eliminate the amount of salt going out, because apparently a lot of our drivers for safety are putting out more salt than the province would like. And I think we all agree that, that even that's not enough salt, but there's drivers actually leaving the Department of Transportation that don't feel it's safe to be operating because they're not allowed to put salt out. And I feel if they go back to putting older equipment here just to eliminate the salt usage, we're the ones that are going to pay for it, our local residents. But I think it's time we go back. I know we've had this conversation in past years with the ministers. But I'd like to go back to Mr. Hines once again, and he's quite familiar with the conditions here in the winter, being from the area, and see if we cannot rattle some chains again to see if we can get a little more acceptable conditions here in Northern Victoria County. And that's it for this evening.
Thank you very much for that. We appreciate those comments, and they support the motion that Councillor McGinnis will be making shortly, I expect. So we're going to Councillor Patterson, District number 5, District concerns this evening, sir.
Thank you. Not so much a concern, it's kind of a success story. For a number of years, the Ross Ferry Stewardship Society sponsored a farmers market at the Fire Hall, which was very successful. But of course, this year conditions changed and they couldn't go in a traditional manner. So they kind of went back to the past, and they had yesterday, the first one, they called it a farm gate market. And there were 11 different vendors at 9 locations on the Kented Road. And I spoke to about half of them, and they all had a very successful day. It was supposed to run from 1 to 3. Some of them ran out within the first hour because they didn't know how much product that you would need or whatever. So, you know, it's kind of a heartening thing to see that they just didn't despair and say we can't do it. They found an innovative way of doing it. And as the gardens start to produce more and more, there'll be more and more product available as the summer goes on. So anyway, that's good news.
Good. Very good. Thank you for that update, sir. going to go to district number 4, Councillor McGinnis, please.
Yes, I just wanted to extend the praise that Councillor Patterson, my wife and I had the opportunity to do the trail yesterday, and the loop, right, went in at the Sea Lion Bridge and came out at the Gas Lane Alley and came to the conclusion that the trail is almost as beautiful as the Cabot Trail, but not quite, Fraser. Just one. But it was a good event, a beautiful day for it, and they nice setups. We didn't see all 11. They said there was 11 altogether. That's good. It was very good. Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to make the motion that we talk to Mr. Hines about the removal of this 6-wheel drive plow. I mean, I don't think there's any, like I said earlier, it's potentially the most dangerous piece of highway in our whole province. And for them to even consider the idea is just dangerous. It's a commute that a lot of people have to get to hospitals and deliveries to north. And I know they do an excellent job of keeping it open, but if they lose that machine, that's going to be a big plus. So I'd like to make that motion that we contact Mr. Hines and try and retain that machine for the.
Right, and I think the deputy ward mentioned too, if also to contact him via task to meet with him via Zoom in person and have that supported by a motion and a letter from council tonight. So it's very important. It's critical. So do we have a seconder for that motion, please?
Second.
That's seconded by the deputy warden. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion's carried. Thank you both. This is very important. It's no question. Anything else in District 4 there, sir?
Well, yes. After being at the great celebration in honor of Jim Bradley the other day, I was curious of all the trucks that were coming back and forth in the yard. I asked the question, and it was material being hauled from the north depot. And I got looking at these trucks with 6-inch exhaust pipes on them and an excavator out in the Bobby Fitzgerald out in the back, delivering this with an 8-inch exhaust pipe. And I'm thinking, you know, how crazy is the world getting? I mean, these trucks were hauling all day long for days, taking this stuff. And I was thinking, well, it'd be a lot simpler. There'd be less pollution to the environment if it was burnt. But then again, and I think it would be. And another thing I think that was it ever looked at the possibility of chipping the material? It might have been, I can't remember if it ever was or not. And we could utilize it as opposed to, I know presently we're hauling chips from the Port Hawkesbury pulp mill to cover crab shells. Why couldn't we utilize material that's been burnt and it must be an amazing amount of money to haul that stuff all over the deck to be buried. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm just wondering the reason why we didn't do it to begin with.
I'll refer that question to the CAO for comment, please.
I will refer that to Director of Public Works. I think we probably talked about that in one of our meetings before, and I feel like there's something related to environment and the Department of Environment. I believe they won't allow you to touch anything once it comes into the transfer station, but I'm not 100% sure. I can look into what the reason is. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't think we're allowed to. So I'll look into it.
Well,
I can't give you a definite right now.
I mean, one thing, I mean, there's the possibility of course, being nails and steel, but
yeah,
magnets invented 1,000 years ago. They could take the steel out of it. It just was mind-boggling me all the way home from the deck that day. I was meeting these trucks, tractor trailers, dump trailers,
yeah,
full of wood. Just that was so. If you wouldn't mind doing that, I'd appreciate it.
I will. I'll look into. I will. Yeah.
Okay. And
thank you.
One other question: did we decide on an increase for the fire departments for the upcoming year? An increase in their budget? for the fire services?
We did, and I don't have the number off the top of my head. Possibly Alex does.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I was pretty sure. I was asked the other day by, I wasn't sure what the amount was, so, but we did grant an increase, I believe. I'm right on that statement?
Yeah, I think sorry, just to chime in, I'm pretty sure it was a 10% increase, but I was just bringing it up. But my intent, yeah, it was 10%. My thought was I was going to, we haven't published the budget on a website yet. So even though, unless you watched council, you wouldn't know that. But I was thinking that I'd meet with Lyle and he could be the person to let the fire departments know that the funding has increased.
Fair enough. Great. Thank you, Alex. And that is it for me for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're going to go District 2, Councillor MacLeod.
Thank you, Warren. Following the mails about that day of Jim Bradley when we do the signing, I have some complaints about that day with the trucks. They're going, I don't know if they have a timeline or how they pay for, because they're just flying from Old Margaret Road. So while some residents concerns about the kids there was playing there and they're just flying around. So I wonder if, I don't know, Public Works can send a note to these companies to tell them, you know, if they're going to use alternate ways to go to the landfill, just in residents, they have to go slow down. This road was done, I think 1 year or 2 years ago. They put a lot of the stuff there. And if they just running and flying that way, they're going to destroy the road again. And it's going to take years again to put that road in conditions. So I wonder if we can send a letter to them. You know, if they're going to do the job, it's fine, but respect the residential. No matter, it's not a lot of houses around there. There is kids, children around in there. So I will appreciate if they send that note. And if not, the RCMP can talk to them or whatever. But if they were flying, and it's a video around social media, and they just didn't care. So if you can pass it on to the Public Works for me.
Very good. We will.
Thank you. Okay. The second, yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. I sent an email for a flag for the Mi'kmaq flag for June 21st, and we was deciding to do the flag for the month of July. We have to cancel because the chief Norman and band council have in that day they couldn't come here to do that for a Day of the Community. So we decided to do this raising the flag until October when it's Aboriginal Day. Just I want to put it for the record why we didn't do it. And then I'll complain. And right now, when you go to the co-op, I don't know if we can send a letter to the board. There's families, no locals, but usually it's their tourists coming to the co-op and all the families going inside. So I don't know if it is a restriction in that or it's just a policy from the store, but I think it's very concerned if we trying to be social distancing and do all this job for months. If the tourists are coming, maybe something they can tell them that just one person or family can go to shopping, because we need to start caring about our essential workers, our county, and the tourists in general. So if we can address that too. And that's it. I'm just asking for social distancing, wash your hands, and we're still in a state of emergency, so it's not over. So just, just keep the social distancing.
Okay, I think what we can do, thank you, Councillor. I think what we can do with that is just we can notify the co-op and just say that the concerns have been brought up at council, and we are concerned of its safety of our residents, their employees. So maybe a just in
Yeah.
some correspondence directed and better signage at the front of the building if it's not already there. So, yep,
Exactly.
great.
Thank you.
We can do that. Okay, thank you. District number one, any district concerns from your district,
Just
please?
a couple. I've got some poll issues, not voting polls, but power pole issues to do in the district. Actually, trees need to be cut along the power poles from 3837 Highway 223 Iona to 3782 Highway 223 Iona. And also, they're looking to get a power pole moved at the port in Iona to allow access to a boat ramp there. So I was in touch with Amy Woodford, but if you don't mind following up with a letter too, that would be great. Thanks.
Thank you. And you'd have to put that letter request in the form of a motion if you would, Councillor, please.
I'll put that in a motion that a letter be sent just as follow up to those two issues. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that motion, please?
Seconded.
Seconded by Councillor McDonald. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Is there any other district concerns from you, Councillor McNeil?
That's it. Thank you, Warden.
Thank you. I don't have any motions under my district concerns. I just want to mention we did have the opportunity to dedicate, name our solid waste facility building here in Bedeque Recycling Center to in dedication of Jimmy Bradley. And I want to thank the councillors that were there. I want to thank the staff that were there. And certainly it was a gesture that was well received by the community. It is also well received by Mr. Bradley. And I just want to thank council for supporting that initiative. The other thing I just want to mention very quickly, we had a chance to speak with the gentleman that was doing the mountain bike strategy. I know that he's going to talk to different councillors from different areas. Great opportunity. We have an excellent trail system here that certainly can support that. Again, they have recognized our county as being an ideal location for this. So I would encourage those of you, if you are contacted, please make sure that you have a conversation with him, because it's our input that they're looking for, because they feel that we know our districts best. And I would tend to agree with them on that. And it's just another example of ecotourism. It's also an act of living that we genuinely support. So just as we move forward with that, do your best. I didn't realize he was in an accident, but hopefully he's okay. And I'm sure he'll start to continue meeting with folks from around the municipality. And if you have anybody that you think he should contact, certainly feel free to give him that information as well. Do we have any correspondence this evening?
Yeah, so the only one that I have not sent out so far, there was a letter that I received today from Waterfront Bedeque. So I'm just going to read it. It's quite short. Waterfront Bedeque, acting on behalf of the Village of Bedeque, is in the process of applying to ACOA for funding for the repair and renovation of Bedeque's wharf. We will be asking for approximately $500,000. ACOA has indicated that a joint application by the village and the County of Victoria would be the best way to move forward with this project. The purpose of this letter is to ask the county to agree to be a joint applicant. So I'm asking for permission or council to grant that we be a joint application in that application to ACOA.
So we have a request from Waterfront Bedeque to be a joint applicant on this project. It's potential to bring in $500,000 for the wharf in Bedeque. Are we in favor of being a joint applicant to this project?
I make a motion that we proceed with that being a joint applicant.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Second that.
Seconded by Councillor McGuinness. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? And motion is carried. And just with some reference to the village, I want to thank the councillors that attended the meeting with the village that they asked to have a chat with us last week. I think it was quite informative, and I'm sure that will be an ongoing conversation. Next item on council is, are there any committee reports? Bylaw, any bylaw or policy reviews? We already did our bylaws through our public hearing process today. Any other correspondence?
The only other bylaw that I sent out this week, I think we'll have it ready for the next week for a first reading, hopefully. I sent out a commercial district improvement bylaw, commercial development district improvement bylaw. If everyone would take a look at that. It's really only available, so the warden asked a few council sessions ago to look into a charter for the area. A charter is going to be a bit of a hill to climb. However, this bylaw is available for any areas where there's water and wastewater in the ground, and it can be approved through the MGA. So it's something that's available right now. So it's a tax incentive that is available for commercial businesses that are doing new improvement. So if you just want to take a look at the draft that was sent out to you, and we invite any comments back for a first reading for the next council session, if we could.
If I could just add, I looked at that and I found a document on the Municipal Affairs website, a 25-page document that goes through it in quite detail. I guess there's a number of questions that it's hard to read this without having a sense of, for example, what other municipalities have enacted it and what have they found out with it. It also says in that document that you work closely with your municipal advisor. Well, who is our municipal advisor? I don't even know who it is anymore, because Emily's not anymore, I don't think.
Ross McDonald.
So what if he, and I don't want to hold things up, but what if he were to come and give us a presentation on this so we'd have a better understanding of it?
Yeah, and I don't think that's an issue at all, Councillor, and I think...
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's probably a good thing.
No.
But
yeah,
I have a very clear understanding of what it's all about.
Not a problem at all if to ask him to come in. And I will say, and just what we have found out, I'm sure Leanne was going to mention this, that there are a number of towns, villages, or I'm sorry, towns and CBRM, HRM, they've all gone this route because it's a less cumbersome route than going back and trying to work through changes through the Municipal Government Act and then have to go through cabinet. So right now it is restricted to areas that have water and sewer, but the potential is, as we develop this county and other communities that have water and sewer, it allows that potential as well. So it's the first step of, it's not designated towards a particular, to Baddeck, for example, it just happens to have both services, but it opens the door to allow this municipality to start having some opportunities to offer some economic development initiatives, and we do need that, particularly on commercial development, because of
so is it necessary to make a motion, or will you just
no, if you wish to make a motion to meet with him to have a conversation around that, then not a problem at all. In fact, if you wish to, please go ahead.
I'd like to move that we
Sure.
meet with our municipal advisor to get a presentation on the CDD, or the Commercial Development District bylaw.
Yep. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Second that.
Seconded by, sorry, Councillor McDonald, got you, Councillor Budge, and all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
And Leanne, if you would get in touch with our municipal advisor and ask him, we would like to start this process as soon as possible, and at his earliest convenience to come down and meet with us to discuss that. It's a good point, Councillor. Appreciate that. Any other any other thing to come to council tonight? Our next council meeting, I'm sorry, Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, sorry, Warden. I just, when Councillor Budge brought up about district, I'd like to take $200 from my district budget 8 as well to go into Cabot Trail Lions Club, please, to support that golf tournament.
Okay,
Lions Club.
thank you. We have a seconder for that, please.
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Budge. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion's carried. Thank you. Deputy Warden, I have to step out of the chair for a sec. I forgot I would like to take $1,000 out of my district budget to give to the beautification project at the Bedeck Wharf that will be carried out through the village of Bedeck.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a seconder for that motion?
Second, Alan.
Second by Councillor McGinnis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion passed.
Thank you, Deputy. Appreciate that. Any other final before we go to the dates of council? Or are there any final questions, comments?
Yeah, I'd
before
just
we,
like to, the motion we passed tonight for the sewer is $10,000. Is that over 10 years or 5 years or how long?
So that's all in the policy, the amendment or the policy that's there. I believe that it's over a 5-year period.
Okay.
Just give me a second, Wayne. Alex may know that also. Maximum period of 10 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions or comments before we? Our next council meeting is July 20th
27th, 20th or 27th?
The 27th.
27th.
It is on the 27th. Is that's a Monday or Tuesday?
That's a Monday.
That's a Monday.
Yeah.
At 5 o'clock.
Yes.
And we haven't heard anything about changes so that councils can meet as a group. We were still bound by legislation that restricts us. And I think the reason being is because council sessions are allowed to be open to the public, so it's being restricted that way. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks, those again will be relaxed, but we just don't know. But in the meantime, I want to again thank you very much for your cooperation and patience as we go through the virtual meetings. So our next meeting will be on the 27th. Did you tell me? 27th. And can we have a motion to adjourn this evening, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor McNeil. All in favor? Contrary minded? Thank you very much. Al, I'm sorry, is there any questions from anybody outside, Dan?
No, there's been no comments, no questions put on Facebook.
Okay, thank you very much. We are adjourned. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.